Howdy folks, it is Diecastbuffet here again, and Martin Truex Jr. gets it done, his fourth win at Sonoma and his second win this year, not including the Busch Clash. So, congratulations to all the Martin Truex Jr. fans. At least it's a beautiful paint scheme. You're going to want to pre-order that Raced Win diecast. Hopefully we get a 1/64 scale made of that. Of course, you can go pre-order it. You can use the promo code Diecastbuffet over there at Circuit B Diecast, and you can take $6 off shipping for any orders $30 or more. So, let's go in and talk about Sonoma. They had the first ever Xfinity race at Sonoma. Never happened before, and it was a super good event. In my opinion, the Xfinity race was so much better, even though it was dominated by Kyle Larson. I'm a Larson fan, but regardless, the pure racing quality was a lot better in the Xfinity Series compared to the Cup Series. I'll be honest with you, the Cup Series felt very flat. I don't know. It just you usually do have one or two cars that dominate at these road course races. That's just something historically that has happened a lot in stock car racing. But I just feel like the competition, the way these cars run, you can't be as aggressive, or they just don't try to be as aggressive as the Trucks and Xfinity Series does at the road courses. COTA has a lot of aggression into it, but COTA is a completely different racetrack. And I'm afraid that the rest of the road course races this year are going to race exactly like Sonoma. Now, people will say, oh, you complained you didn't want stages, now you didn't get stage breaks, and now you're complaining. Stages had nothing to do with this, because we saw this last year at the Roval. Let's not forget how much of a really uneventful race the fall Charlotte Roval race was. Christopher Bell won that joint, but it just seemed like the drivers don't truly try as hard as they can. And then you watch the Xfinity Series, and I mean, they're just beating and banging, fenders are bending, tire rubs every single lap. They were racing more aggressive at the end of the Sonoma race, but nowhere near the quality of racing we've seen in years past. I remember back when TNT covered the Sonoma race, and you just saw so much more action. I don't think there was a true multi-car caution the entire race. Maybe I forgot. But you had Denny Hamlin's incident, but like no one really spun out and got stuck. No one really hit the wall. I mean, there was more action in Xfinity practice than there was in the entire Cup Series race. When it said 50 to go, I'm like, are you kidding already? It's not because we didn't have stage breaks. Even if they did have them, it's the next-gen car. It struggles at short tracks, and it struggles at most road courses. If it was up to me, wholesale changes to the road course car. I mean, I've said this about short track ones. You have to change things. You have to get rid of the diffuser. You have to get rid of the splitter. You have to change the horsepower, get rid of the spoiler. I don't care. Maybe even put a different gearbox in there. I don't care what you have to do, but you have to do something to create more of the Gen 6, Gen 5 style road course racing, because it's uneventful. And I guarantee you, when you go to Watkins Glen, you're probably going to see a very similar event. When you go to the Indy road course, it's probably going to be a similar event. Now, if we get rain, it could be anything. I think the Chicago race, which I personally wish would never on the schedule, because I don't care about street courses, even for open wheel cars, it's probably going to be a demo derby because it's a street course. There's concrete barriers everywhere, and if you go 2 to 3 wide, you're going to run out of room really quickly. You're probably going to see a lot of yellow flags. But my point is, we're watching modified sports cars run a road course. It's common sense. They're going to run very, very well. They're going to turn on a dime. They're going to handle borderline perfectly on road courses. You know, my common analogy when it comes to stock car racing prior to the Gen 7 era is stock cars, whether it's Gen 4, Gen 5, or Gen 6, when you want the car to turn left, it wants to turn right. And if you want the car to turn right, it wants to turn left. You're taking a very heavy, bulky stock car, and you're trying to make it turn the opposite direction it doesn't want to go. With these next-gen cars, it's like when you want it to turn left, it really turns left. And you can just see this by the apex at like a Martinsville. The way the cars rotate around the corner, it's so sharp and precise. It doesn't feel like you're moving a mass, you know, a 3,400-pound race car, and you're forcing it to get around the corner like in years past. And that's why we see so much poor racing there. Truex clearly was the best car, and he deserved to win this race. It was like Kyle Larson yesterday. Kyle Larson was the best car. He deserved to win the race, but he made a mistake. And if Truex would have made a mistake and Kyle Busch would have won, that's what happens, right? A huge shout out to Eric Almirola winning yesterday in the Xfinity race. That was pretty cool. But I just think that these next-gen cars, man, I don't think truly if they changed everything on it, it's going to fix it. You know, I don't care if they get rid of the splitter, change the spoiler, change the horsepower. I still don't think the racing is going to improve. I think it is the actual car, the mass of the next gen car, the shape of it, the wheels, everything, the weight ratio. That's why these cars race the way they do. Just keeping it real. They're modified sports cars. If you put a Porsche badge on it, it's going to race pretty similar. That's what it is. So that's my honest 2 cents on Sonoma. It definitely was underwhelming like last year. You got a cool winner last year, right, with Suarez getting his first career, and that's always awesome. But the racing product for both Sonoma next-gen races, in my opinion, was a little bit of a disappointment. And I'm not really surprised. This is kind of par for the course for the next-gen car. If it's not a 1.5 mile, you generally see this. And this brings me back to my age-old question that I've said probably 1,000 times on this channel, is the schedule needs to reflect what the current racing car or product is. You could probably poll 100,000 NASCAR fans, and most of them will tell you the best form of racing today is probably the 1.5 mile racing. Let's just be honest. I mean, you have 3 wide racing at Charlotte Motor Speedway, beating and banging, all 4 series, incredible stuff. You go to Kansas, same thing there. I guarantee if you went to Chicagoland, probably same thing there. And then you go to short tracks like Richmond, you go to Martinsville, North Wilkesboro, you go to Sonoma, you're going to probably go to the Indy Road Course and Watkins Glen. I love Watkins Glen. I love Sonoma. I don't love the Indy Road Course. But my point is that you're going to see very similar mundane events. You're not going to see the aggression and the hard racing, the mechanical failures, the things that truly spice up an event. Not every race needs to have 1,000 cautions. I personally would be okay with that, but that's just, not every race is going to have that. It's been like that back in the Winston Cup days. But what makes racing really interesting, probably more than anything, is untimely cautions. When you have a car that's more prone to mechanical failures and you have a car that's extremely on edge that could spin out and wreck at any moment, you're more likely to get a caution at the most inconvenient time that splits the strategy. You have guys who stay out, you have guys who pit. When you have stages, teams can prepare for months. When do we want to pit? They use simulation, they use data and metrics. What's the highest percent chance to win the race based on X, Y, and Z? I don't know. I'm ranting. I just think that the Sonoma racing is nowhere near as good as it was in Gen 6. I'm just going to keep it honest. I love Sonoma. I love racing on it on video games. I don't know, man. These next-gen cars, it really is like, if it's not a 1.5 mile, if it's not Pocono, if it's not Michigan, or Daytona, Talladega, or Atlanta, or COTA, because for whatever reason it runs good at COTA, it sucks most of the time. And occasionally you do get some surprises, but I've said this once, I'll say it again. If short tracks and road courses are not what this car is, competitively can put on a great show for, if it's not the best form of racing, why add more of those, right? If Gen 6 struggled with 1.5 miles, then naturally you should reduce the number of 1.5 miles. Well, if Gen 7 is great at 1.5 miles, and I think statistics would show that, you go look at a comment section from Kansas, look at Charlotte, you got a buttload of fans that are really happy. You have, borderline sellout crowds. I'm just saying, if the next-gen car race is better, let's increase the 1.5 miles. I'm just saying. I'd be cool with getting rid of the playoff race at Phoenix and putting the Charlotte Oval as a doubleheader with the Roval. That would be interesting. Chicagoland, put that on the schedule. Second Homestead race, maybe not. I don't know. I mean, I'm cool with it, I'm just saying, man. 2 races at Dover, maybe. The racing's better. I don't know. What do y'all think? I'm ranting here. I don't know, man. It doesn't matter if Chase would have won this race, to be honest with you. I always said, if you're going to change something or replace something, you add something that's better, right? Clearly, it's not better, and whatever package they're going to congregate for the 2024 season is not going to fix it, most likely. It's been like that since 2015. They change one little thing, and they hype it up so they can make a week-long discussion on NASCAR Race Hub, and then they actually put it on the track, and it changes nothing. And then the commentators are forced to overhype it so it looks like it actually changes the racing product. I'm just keeping it real, guys. Just keeping it real. I'll leave the video on this. What do y'all think? My opinions don't matter. I want to know what y'all think. Feel free to comment down below. Huge congratulations to Truex getting that win. Hopefully he comes back next year. Hopefully he doesn't sail off into the sunset, but who knows? I just really wish we could have seen more battle of attrition, harder racing. Sonoma, when you have drivers who race aggressively and you have cautions and you have contrarian strategies, organic cautions, I might add, not Mickey Mouse stage breaks. I can't stand those things. But when you have cautions that come out in the worst possible time, it creates so much strategy. And when you have these cars, they're bulletproof. They're sports cars. They're designed to turn left and right on a dime. You're not going to get that. And until you really change the body of the car itself, the actual mass of it, you're going to have this through the rest of the Gen 7 era. I'm truly believing that. So hopefully for 2024, which they keep rumoring about the schedule, more 1.5 miles, less short tracks, and in my opinion, less road courses. That's just me. Thank you all so much for watching. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Sucks NASCAR is off next week. I think IndyCar is racing at Road America, which is the best road course ever, in my opinion. They'll probably put on a great show because they actually race pretty hard at those road courses. So that'll be fun. Thank you all so much for watching. Have a blessed one, everybody. Diecast Buffet. Signing off.